What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Gennady Golovkin. Get this, Golovkin confident that he holds the secret to beat Canelo. The IBF middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin feels confident that he possesses the key to defeating the Mexican superstar Saul Canelo Alvarez. Golovkin, of course, fought Canelo to a draw in 2017, and he lost controversial decision, very close, in a rematch. Okay, and since their second encounter, a trilogy fight has been often discussed, but their respective teams have yet to sit down for serious negotiation. While Golovkin has remained at 160, Canelo has continued to move up, of course. Early this month, Canelo knocked out Caleb Plant to become the undisputed 168-pound super middleweight champion. 2019, he knocked out Sergey Kovalev to capture the light heavyweight title. Okay, and this is what Golovkin had to say about that. He said, of course, there is a secret, but it's not the kind of secret you talk about. That's the secret you demonstrate. The right publicity should be done. The organizers should make it happen, and I'm sure Canelo has secrets against me. I have secrets against him, Golovkin told The Sun. He said, we all have keys to victory, and the only way to see if these keys fit the lock is to have this fight, to make it happen. This fight should be publicized in the right way. It should bring a lot of interest for everyone because, let's be honest, it's one of the, if not the most sought-after fight, even though it will be our third fight. He said the demand to see this fight is probably the biggest among potential fights that may be available. If he fights this guy, fights someone else, and in the middleweight we get together, that will not be the right approach. But if the fight is promoted the right way, then of course there will be interest in this fight. Let me counterpunch. Gennady Golovkin, I feel he beat Canelo the first fight. He beat Canelo. Therefore, Canelo can't lose a decision, so they ruled it a draw. Okay, that's like a moral victory for Golovkin. The second fight, Canelo Alvarez fought a different way. He fought coming forward and counterpunching, and it was also a very good fight. Okay, both of those guys had their moments in that fight, majority decision. It should have been another draw, but somebody had to be the victor because somebody had to continue keeping boxing alive like Canelo Alvarez has done. And now Golovkin says he has a secret to beating Canelo. Well, based on his win in the first fight, I think pressure on Canelo, I think using smart jabs and boxing him at times, I think Golovkin should have went to the body more. Okay, I feel he should have done that versus what he did, because he was mostly jabbing and using hooks and uppercuts, off the jab. Okay, and the jab was mostly the landing go-to punch for Golovkin like it always is because he sets pretty much everything up with the jab a lot. Very technical. At times, he likes to brawl with certain fighters. But him thinking that Canelo Alvarez is the biggest fight for him, I think for him it is. But I think for Canelo it isn't. That ship has sailed, right? And it just only gets me to understand that Gennady Golovkin is still hung on the idea of still wanting to fight Canelo. You can't be that one-tracked. Okay, you don't want to be a Marquez because you're not going to knock out Canelo Alvarez. That's not going to happen. And he's older. He will be 40 years old next year. The dude's 39 years old. Right? So it's like, at what point do you give it up? Like Gennady Golovkin, please give it up. And my disappointment with Golovkin is he wants to chase Canelo, and Canelo's doing record-breaking things. He's doing things that's never been done before in the sport. But then yet, the only thing you've done is wait a whole year to fight a guy, Murata. And then what did he fight last? He fought Steve Rolls. Listen, you have to earn your respect in the fight game. You know, and I'm tired of fighters sitting around waiting and wanting another opportunity. You know, at this point, Gennady Golovkin is no different to me than Andy Ruiz, because those two guys are sitting back. They got two big paydays that they're not accustomed to. Let's be real. And then in return, they don't want to take a risk with other fighters. Meanwhile, sitting around waiting for the same opportunity that they got before. You have to make opportunities like that. You have to make a name for yourself. And the irony of Gennady Golovkin was the guy that was the boogeyman. Now the boogeyman is no man, right? Because he's not fighting Andrade. He's not fighting Charlo. He's not fighting any of these guys that we want to really see him fight. You know, I would love to see him fight Jaime Munguia. I think that would be a very good fight. And Jaime, at this point, has a good chance of beating Gennady Golovkin. So I think Golovkin needs to focus on himself or retire. Okay? Because what he wants is a third fight. There's no way he's earned that fight. He's earned that possibility because he hasn't fought anyone. You know? However, again, does he have the secret? He may. But could he execute it at 40 years old? I don't think people would want to. That's why he has to always the way you market the fight. Well, there you go. Fights market themselves. You shouldn't have to market a fight that's in demand. And that fight is not in demand. A lot of fights are. That ain't one of them, people. So Gennady Golovkin, please, with sprinkles on top, give up the idea of fighting Canelo Alvarez. And fighting Canelo Alvarez at this point now, it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, he's fighting on pay-per-view with Fox, you know, and then, you know, he may want Golovkin to cross over and he cannot because he signed a deal with DAZN exclusively, right? You know, what gives with that? But anyway, I think it's just, that fixation to fight Canelo Alvarez is beyond me. You guys tell me what you think of Gennady Golovkin saying that he has the secrets of beating Canelo Alvarez. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.